thunderstorm warning for Russell County in south-central Kentucky, northeastern Monroe County in south-central Kentucky, northern Cumberland County in south-central Kentucky, southeastern Metcalfe County in south-central Kentucky, southeastern Adair County in south-central Kentucky.
Hey everybody! Whoa, way too loud. What's going on, everybody? I'm back from work finally. I've been watching this, keeping up a little bit, looking at all the tornadoes that have been coming across. Sorry I wasn't here to get you more details on what's going on, but right now we're just focused on this tornado warning southwest of Birmingham, Alabama. So we are. They just issued the severe thunderstorm warning. For Birmingham, I thought it was going to be possible we'd see a tornado warning, but since they put that severe thunderstorm warning down, they might be thinking that this is starting to really not wrap up as much anymore, starting to slow down the rotation, which is possible. Currently, right now, it is the only tornado warning out for the storm, so I know at one point we had quite a bit more. But if this thing changes at all, if this rotation gets any different, this is your rotation. Both of these are rotations, so this is actually just raw rotation speed. I know you can't see this, but it's actually negative 29 knots here and then 42 knots on this side. So you can combine them and get a velocity of about 70 miles an hour. But that doesn't take into account storm motion. So down here, this one accounts for storm motion, and so we're actually about 74 knots. Actually about 80 knots there. So this one down here takes it a little bit more into account. It depends on how the storm's moving in relationship to the radar, whether or not this one's easier to see. This one takes, like I said, it takes into account the storm motion and tries to subtract the actual whole entire storm moving this way, and figure out what air is moving differently in there, so you can see rotation in a moving storm. Well, this one is just raw. Sometimes it's easier to see on this one. I think it's kind of half and half in this one, so I'll leave both of them up for now. This is down here is your correlation coefficient, your CC. So if there's a debris ball on the ground, so this bottom left panel is actually how we can radar confirm a tornado. So if there's a tornado on the ground, you'll see a relatively small, about the size of the circle I'm making with a mouse, of a dark blue or a black spot. If it gets very severe, it'll be black. Obviously, we look for hook echoes. This is your regular reflectivity that you see in any radar app, any weather station ever, up here in the top left. So that's how we use these 4 panels. I'll switch these out with different modes. Sometimes your ZDRs, your SW, which is just different ways to look at updrafts, hell cores, and things like that. So right now I'm going to leave it on this one though, so we can just look at this velocity as this gets closer and see if we get any more updates on the storm that's approaching the south of Birmingham. So right here is actually a great example of that CC drop I'm talking about. It's not really a perfect example. This is a light debris ball. They can get way more severe than this, but this is a debris ball. What I was looking at, when you have these thicker lines on these tornado warnings, which are in pink, I don't know if you know that, pink is tornado warnings. At least in my streams they are. I know some places they're red. Red is severe thunderstorm warning. Tornadoes are pink. These thicker lines right here is a confirmed tornado, either spotter confirmed or radar confirmed. So that means there was at some point a tornado touching the ground. Sometimes when you have light tornadoes, they don't throw up enough debris to put in a actual debris ball. This one did, and that's where this confirmation comes from. I can read this. I know you can't see it. I'm sorry, but it does say that it is a radar confirmed, I believe, somewhere through here. Radar confirmed tornado. Yep. So this was radar confirmed. This is probably what they saw, this particular screen right here, and confirmed this tornado. You can see the rotation's pretty severe. That inflow is really hooking. This is kind of that mid-storm tornado, so it's really difficult to see this hook, but it does exist right here and right here. So you have this kind of general hook shape right here. It's much easier to see when it's on the front line of a storm. So if this came back around and made a little hook right in here, if this red part, it'd be much easier to see. But they're not always like that. You know, weather is dynamic. It's not always textbook. But there's a good example right there of what we're looking for with a tornado on the ground. In the future, over the next month, I'm probably going to put together a video on what we look for when we're trying to spot tornadoes on the radar. So that way, in the springtime, when tornado season picks up, and I'm doing this a lot more often, you guys can follow along with me and know what you're looking at. You're not just like looking at this random screen of random colors and expecting me to tell you what's going on. Anybody who wants to follow can follow us and look for themselves. So that's what we're looking for here. It looks like this tornado warning will expire early, so it's not set to expire until 45.
West Central Van Buren County in Middle Tennessee, Warren County in Middle Tennessee.
So there's a severe thunderstorm warning for up in Tennessee. If there is another tornado warning, it should come across to that text and let us know if this thing extends out. But the rotation area is right here. It's right on the line. It's not expected to expire for another 7 or 8 minutes. I think this thing's going to get canceled early unless they decide to extend it out further. I don't know if they will, because that rotation doesn't, I mean, there's rotation there, but it doesn't look like it's kicking up. So this is called normalized rotation. This is actually just a depiction of rotation in the thunderstorm, with teals and blues and greens being very intense. Not extremely intense, but more intense than blues. So there is still rotation there, and we can see that on all of our screens, but maybe dying down more than picking up. I think they're keeping a really close eye on this right now, because this is in the range of a very populated area already, and it is going to go through more populated areas until it gets on the other side of Birmingham. Way up here is, you know, this general area is populated, so it's moving into it right now. If this thing changes at all, I think we're going to see another tornado warning in this area. They'll probably cancel this one, and depending on what happens, we may see another one. So.
Tornado warning for northern Shelby County in central Alabama, southeastern Jefferson County in central Alabama.
So there's our tornado warning. There it is. I saw it show up there, and I figured any moment that sound was coming through. So they do kind of restrict it a little bit. Let's take a closer look at what's going on here. We're going out in the southern Birmingham area. So downtown Birmingham is included in this tornado warning. Midfield, Brighton, Bessemer, Bluff Park, Hoover, Indian Springs Village, Meadowbrook, Lake Purdy, Cahaba Heights, Mountain Brook, Irondale, Leeds, Sterrett, Trustville. You are all in the path of this tornado warning. You should be getting alerts on your phone right now. This tornado, as far as I'm concerned right now, is probably not on the ground. It doesn't look like it, but I could always be wrong. You can't just rely on CCs and radar images to tell you whether or not a tornado is on the ground. Like I talked about, these tornadoes can come down and they can be on and off the ground. They can not be hitting things enough for a debris ball to be recognized. And so we have rotation. They've issued tornado warnings. All of you guys need to be in your shelters right now. Get in your safe spaces. If you do not have a shelter, get in the lower innermost part of your building, away from any windows. Put as many walls between you and the tornado as possible. So we're going to keep a close eye on this thing as it goes through a heavily populated area. Hopefully not touching down at any point. Hopefully staying up in the sky. Scaring some people, but no, not hurting anybody. We're gonna keep a really close eye on this thing. This tornado warning that's going on behind, I think it's kind of done. So if you're in the Brookwood area or the Vance area and you had that tornado warning earlier, I think the tornado's kind of it's kind of moved out. I think that the risk is kind of gone now. That area of rotations on north of you towards Birmingham. So I think you're kind of in the clear. Those guys who are in the immediate threat of this is the Bluff Park and Hoover area. So you guys, if you're in Bluff Park or Hoover area near Birmingham, Alabama, you need to be in your safe space already. Be in your safe space. All of those names I listed earlier, be in your safe space. If you are on this screen right now, you know you live in this screen, in this pink area, or in this red area even, just go ahead and make sure you're in your safe space, away from any windows, lowest, most innermost part of your house, a bathroom, a closet. If you have a closet that's underneath a set of stairs, that's really good. Put as many walls between you as possible. The sturdiest most part of your building, you need to be in that. Make sure if you're in this area but you're not in the tornado warning, especially if you're in like the Pell City area, make sure you got your alerts on. Make sure you got your if you got a NOAA weather radio, make sure you got that going. So if this thing extends out, you're ready. I may let this thing sit here on the most recent scans. I'm not going to let this thing cycle through, so it'll be probably a still image, but it will be the most up-to-date radar image that we have. That way, when it does update, you get it immediately. You know exactly what's going on, and we can see what's going on. So just bear with us for a little bit. Stay safe, guys. Stay safe. So it is looking more and more like we're losing our area of rotation here, which is a good thing. It's a great thing. So I figured out how to make my marker work here. So this is our area of rotation. That there's still something going on there. It's a lot easier to see down here, where these greens and these red meet in this area right here. This is the specific area where a tornado would be likely if there was one. So we have greens moving in one direction and reds moving one direction. Realistically, they're moving this direction around in the central point. And over the last couple of frames, I can scroll back here. What I'm really looking at is the intensity of the greens here, and then also the intensity of the greens here. These are the same, basically the same parameter that we're looking at. The wind speeds, the velocity of the winds. And then over here on the left, I'm also watching these areas kind of come together. This is kind of where our reflectivity is. So our hook's kind of like this. And I'm looking at these three things, and if we scroll forward, the greens get less intense than the right, and then that hook kind of goes away. It's hard to see. It's still a severe thunderstorm though, so you should definitely not be out and about. The threat's not over. There is still rotation here and here. I mean, you can see these are clearly two different colors. It's not over yet. There's still a tornado warning. There's still a long way to go. There's still a rotation in this area just southwest of Hoover. So it's not over yet, but it's looking good. We're looking good. Alright, so I'm probably going to let this one play out. Our area of rotation's really dissipated quickly in the last few frames, which is a good thing. Good news, the threat's not over for you guys. We'll keep a close eye on it, but I'm going to put it back in play and let this thing play out. We'll keep a close eye on it and let you know if anything changes.
Severe thunderstorm warning for southeastern Clark County in central Kentucky, northern Madison County in central Kentucky.
I didn't really mention this. I don't know if it's kind of obvious or not, but whenever this tornado threat does pass through the Birmingham area, you are going to have a very strong line of storms that sweeps through the entire area, undoubtedly. Very shortly after, you can see it here in the left-hand line. I'm gonna go forward here. Yeah, I mean, this is obviously we got a strong line of storms here. You know, you can see it clearly on all of the radar images, moving this direction in the southeasterly direction. It will cross Birmingham not soon after this tornado warning kind of dissipates. I assume that severe thunderstorm warning will probably hang out for a minute, and then this thing's going to cross through. Watch it in motion. Watch this thing in motion. Look at it up here on the velocity. Well, if this thing will load. It looks like it's just rolling. It is just going to roll right over top of Birmingham, Columbiana, Tuscaloosa. Tuscaloosa, you're about to get that line of storms within the next 10 minutes probably. So keep an eye out for that. You may not have a tornado threat anymore, but you might have a nice threat of heavy rain and strong damaging winds.
Severe thunderstorm warning for Powell County in east central Kentucky, Montgomery County in east central Kentucky, northwestern Morgan County in southeastern Kentucky, Bath County in east central Kentucky, Estill County in east central Kentucky, north central Jackson County in southeastern Kentucky, Menifee County in east central Kentucky, western Lee County in southeastern Kentucky, central Fleming County in east central Kentucky, Rowan County in east central Kentucky, northwestern Wolfe County in southeastern Kentucky.
So that was just a huge swath for a severe thunderstorm warning. Let's see here, how can I do this? I'm going to try to switch over here very quickly. If I can do it. To show you what's going on here. May not be able to do that right quick. So stick with me. This is for they said central Kentucky. This is more central to eastern Kentucky for the severe thunderstorm warning. There's a strong line of storms pushing through that area now. In fact, what we'll do is we'll just use the GR2 here, and we'll take a nice zoom out. We'll switch it over to our single panel, and we'll run up here to Jackson, Kentucky, and southeastern Kentucky. Switch over to their radar, and hopefully we can see our large red box here. So we've got Moorhead, Owensville, Mount Sterling, Frenchburg, Stanton, Irvin, Campton, you're close. West Liberty, you may not be too far. Sandy Hook and Olive Hill, you may not be too far out. This line of storms is going to persist. It's heading east. This is some pretty strong storm line here. It does show up a little bit on our velocity. Excuse me. Whew, long day at work there. It got me yawning. So I'm going to try to backtrack this and see if we can watch this thing in motion. For those of you who don't know, this is my home area. I grew up in Grayson right here. That little red X right there is my house. That's where I'm at currently. So this is starting to hit home. That's why I wanted to point it out. I do have some local followers. So I wanted to show you what's coming up for you guys in the northeastern Kentucky region. The line of storms is currently over Mount Sterling, about to pass over Owensville, and this is where we could get some of those strong damaging winds. We've had winds pretty heavy all day. I don't know if you guys have noticed, and in the forecast was strong damaging winds with some pretty high wind gusts, and we can get that here. So over the next hour to hour and a half for those regions in northeastern Kentucky, you could see a pretty severe line of storms come through, particularly those in the Moorhead region, the Jeffersonville region, the Frenchburg region. Mount Sterling's getting it right now. So let's put this thing in motion and see what it looks like. So it is heading a little bit more of a northeasterly direction than originally I had thought. Of course, your darker reds are your heavier reflectivity. So reflectivity is the radar image bouncing off of particles in the sky, that being either Dust, debris, rain, hail, snow, sleet, anything like that. This in particular, of course, is going to be rain. So your heaviest rain band is associated with obviously the most severe part of the storm. So that's what that looks like right now. It's not really a squall line in the traditional sense, but it is a pretty severe line of storms. So we'll put this in velocity mode real quick and see what our winds look like. We're not getting, this isn't winds in the sense that we're getting, I can tell you how fast the winds are going to be, excuse me, unlike in a tornado situation where I can give you a good estimate of what the wind rotation speed is. This is relative wind, relative velocity of air particles, the rain reflectivity. It's the velocity of the reflectivity of the rain in association with this radar down here in Jackson, Kentucky. So you can see there is this darker green area, which indicates that there is a line of storms moving through there. Other than that, there's not much more I can tell you, I don't think. This is your ZDR column, so we're looking at updraft columns in the line of storms. We can try to predict things like hail size, if there is going to be hail, and this MEHS, which I believe stands for maximum estimated hail size, if I'm not mistaken. I may be totally off there. It doesn't look like there's anything, so I don't think this storm is going to produce any sort of hail, but it will produce heavy rains and strong damaging winds. So we'll be looking out for flash floods, things like that in the area. I know in the northeastern Kentucky, the tri-state region, flash flooding is, while it is a common occurrence, it is very dangerous with the more hilly region when we get into the foothills of the Appalachia where we are, as it funnels water down the mountains, across roads, things like that. It can easily wash away dirt roads, or even pavement roads underneath the water, and there is it's not uncommon to hear about a drowning, death, and floods. So if you're out and about after this rainstorm comes through, or during this rainstorm, make sure that you do not drive through any water, that you're prepared for the heavy rains that are coming, the heavy winds that are coming, and if you are in a flood zone, make sure you're keeping a very close eye on the rising waters, even long after this storm passes. If you're in the lower edges of the flood zone, we all know that those tend to rise sneakily after storms have passed as the water drains down into the lower regions. We're going to switch back over here down south to where our tornado warnings are coming from, and see if we can keep up with that and pick any more out as they come. So it looks potentially like while we were doing that we may have got a radar confirmed tornado. It looks like, yeah, there it is. There is a tornado on the ground, southwest of Leeds, Alabama, just east of Birmingham and a little bit south. So let me see if I can get a road map up here. This happened out of the blue. You can see the rotation right here as it just spun up suddenly. So let's go back a couple frames. This thing just, yeah, it had just, once it got over Lake Purdy, it touched down east of Lake Purdy and it's gotten relatively large relatively fast. So guys, there is a tornado on the ground heading towards Leeds. If you're in Leeds, Alabama, get to your safe space immediately. There is a tornado on the ground heading in your direction right now. If you're in the Leeds general area, you need to be in your safe space right now. Lower innermost part of your building, away from any windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. If you are in a trailer, you need to get to a sturdy structure. Trailers are not good shelters from tornadoes. So don't be in a trailer. If you got a neighbor that has a brick house, knock on their door. Go over there right now, knock on the door, try to get in there. We have a new tornado warning. That's this one right here. Just south of Leeds, you've got a tornado on the ground heading northeast. Leeds could be impacted here. If you're in the Leeds area, you are about to be impacted by a tornado. It could be any minute now. It's moving northeast at 60 miles an hour. You don't have time. If you're not in your safe space right now, get in your safe space immediately. This thing is ramping up. It's got a large debris ball in it. This thing can destroy your trailer, flip your car. Don't go outside to look at it. Get in your safe space right now. So here we got a place file. So this is just south of I-20 near State Route 25, where State Route 25 and Route 78 meet. The intersection between 25 and 78 in Leeds. That tornado right now is just south of 78 on State 25 right now, crossing over northeast 60 mile an hour. We have a damaging tornado. We've got some storm tracers there on location. Hopefully getting some good weather data, getting some good photography, and there to help anybody who's impacted by this tornado. Because like I said, it's throwing a large debris ball up there. It could indicate that it is impacting people's lives right at this very moment. Whew. That thing just got a lot bigger. That debris ball just got a lot bigger. Obviously, if you weren't here earlier, we're talking about this right here. This is your debris signature. So it's not like anything over here or anything over here. It's a correlation coefficient drop. So the radar is looking at the size. It's comparing the size of what it's picking up in that region compared to what it's picking up everywhere else. And your average size is this maroon, which is going to be your rain, possibly some hail, things like that. And when you have a debris ball, when you've got rocks and dirt and trees and roofs and things like that, the size comparison between a raindrop goes up and the correlation goes down. And so you have these darker areas, these darker blues, greens, and even blacks in some cases, as we saw in that last image. Let me go back here. This is really dark right here. You know, that's some big debris that thing is kicking up. What do we got here? This green is your flash flood warning. Large area around Birmingham got a flash flood warning just now. So if you're in the Birmingham area, make sure that, and you're watching out for your water heights. If you're in a flood zone, please make sure you're paying a lot of attention to where the water levels are. You've got your alerts pulled up, and if do not get trapped by the water. If you're out and about driving, do not drive through any standing water, no matter how deep it is. You may think it's only a couple inches deep, but in reality, the road may have washed away underneath the water, and it's actually 5 feet deep, and people die that way. So we've got tornadoes that kill people, but something as simple as driving through water kills people just as often, if not more. So that tornado right now is just passing Leeds near 78 east of Leeds, heading towards I-20. If you are on I-20 east of Birmingham, between Birmingham and Pell City, there is a tornado that is coming from the south that will be crossing the highway just east of Leeds very, very shortly. New tornado warning. So here's our storm track placed on the tornado right now. Each dash is 15 minutes. This thing goes out to an hour, so you have 15 minutes here. 30 minutes, Ragland, you're in the 30-minute zone. Wattsville, you're about 20 minutes out. Hopefully this thing dissipates before it gets to you guys. But this is what it is. Then we have our 45 and our hour crossing 431 north of Wellington. That's the way this storm is tracking. Like I said, hopefully this thing is very short-lived and is already about to lift if it hasn't already. We still have a debris ball, so that tells me that there is still a tornado on the ground. It's not a ginormous debris ball there. We just got an update. That debris ball has gotten smaller and less intense, which is great news. We got greens instead of blues, no blacks. So we do have a couple of storm chasers out there, so hopefully we get some good images of this tornado near Leeds, Alabama soon, and hopefully they can get in there, these guys, if this tornado impacted the city in severe way, then they can get in there and help, and the emergency responders can get in there and help those guys out. You hate to see this. You really do. You hate to see any sort of devastating event happen like this in near any sort of populated area. Leeds, Alabama. The population of Leeds, Alabama extends the zone of Leeds runs down this area where Richard Lewis is. So it's this general area. It contains about 12,000 people. So this is not some small town. I know a lot of you guys are from the city, but there's a lot of people that live here. There's a lot of people who probably just had their lives changed. Hopefully it went through the backyards and not over the houses and that kind of deal, but it's hard to assume that. It's hard to just assume that everybody's okay and all homes and belongings were undamaged. We'll soon find out, I guess. We'll soon find out. So we do still have a debris signature here. The area of rotation is really difficult to see. Very difficult to see, in fact. We do have a couple. We have Jordan Hall and Scott Peak here that are traveling together. Jordan Hall, of course, is a spotter streamer. So he streams live and he travels around and chases storms. Those guys are trained spotters. And if they do see this tornado cross I-20 here in the next minute or two, they will surely report it to the National Weather Service, and most likely that will be indicated by this tornado warning getting bolder with a blacker outline like this tornado warning, which indicates that it was confirmed by a spotter to be on the ground. Let's see what we got here. What did they reported something. Tree debris falling from the sky. So we have Scott just let us know that we had tree debris falling from the sky. So that could be what this is. Obviously the debris ball. So if this tornado is still on the ground, they are in a really dangerous spot right now. If they're actually getting debris falling on top of them. Obviously they're super close to this tornado. But what I'm hoping is happening is that this area of rotation has actually died out. There's no longer a tornado. Maybe just some really strong winds that are kicking up the debris from the tornado and keeping it aloft, and kind of give us a fake, confirmation of a tornado. It's kind of faking us out a little bit because, like I said, this rotation is just really difficult for me to see right now. Normally you would have these bright reds into these bright greens, or at least one color is really bright and the other one's not, and right now this is just red and this is just gray. I mean, you can see the green right here. Let me pull up my marker again. You can see this green and there's red over here, which indicates that there's an area of rotation right here, but it's not intense at all. That same goes right here. Here's your area of rotation. It's really along this line here, like right here would be more like it. Now that I'm looking at it, it's hard to see. It's hard to see. So I'm hoping this is residual debris and it's actually not a tornado on the ground anymore. Let's hope. Let's hope. Let's put our storm tracker back down here. Let's see where we're looking at. So there's the confirmation. If that came through a minute ago, I didn't see it. So it looks like, so this is a radar confirmed tornado. So this didn't come through either of the spotters. So neither of the spotters saw it. But that doesn't mean there's not a tornado on the ground. So this is a radar confirmed tornado, which means that they're looking at images similar to ours, more detailed images probably, some other images also. We're not a meteorologist. I'm not working for the National Weather Service, so I don't do this every day of my life. But if I immediately came over here and looked at this, like, yeah, that's a tornado right there. The National Weather Service says it is a tornado. It's hard to argue with that. So I'm not going to say it's not. And it's very possible that these guys, we saw them a few minutes ago right in this intersection, right on top of this thing. And I'd love to go back to Jordan stream and see what he saw. Because it's really, really possible that this thing is actually just heavily rain wrapped, and they could have been half a mile from this thing and not been able to actually visually see any sort of funnel rotation enough to report it. So that could be what's going on. This debris ball is kind of thinning out a little bit again, kind of open over some more open land, hopefully non-residential land. We can actually turn our background on, which is satellite imagery of the area. We can see this tornado's path, so we know where it came from. We know it crossed in this general area, so it's hard to see. I don't know if we're gonna get better imagery or not. There it is. There we go. So we do have some commercial, residential areas that this thing could have impacted. Residential, commercial at this intersection where they stopped at, where it crossed the road. And now we're up in through another residential area. That's a large residential area that the thing could have passed through. Hopefully it went just south of it. If I remember correctly, though, it did not. Maybe just south. Just hoping, you know. We're just hoping that this isn't as bad as it looks. So I'm going to remove this. I'm going to put my square over here. Oh, there we go. It's gone now. That thing dissipated. Oh man. So that very well could have been a tornado all the way up to where it crossed. Hopefully, and dissipating when it gets into this more rural area. Soon to find out. Soon to find out exactly what's going on. I may actually bring up Jordan's stream on my phone here and just see if he saw anything. I'd like to know. We'll keep this on the most up-to-date version and hover over here while I take a look for a minute.
Country clubs and orange staples. John Corey says there's going to be a lot of damage. Damage from.
There's kind of your tornado path right there. Yeah, you can kind of see that CC drop down there. Yeah, that's you can see it really well. I don't know if I can easily turn off those warning settings, but you can see this thing wind up really well in that fast motion. And it really does kick up. And there it goes. So currently, right now, we have no tornado warnings. Flash flood warnings for central Alabama. Turn off my background. Normally don't leave that on. Severe thunderstorm warning still in effect for eastern Kentucky. I'm gonna leave this playing right here, and what I might do is set up the national radar again, and we might just focus a little bit more on this storm line. Probably coming towards the end of the severity of the storm. That doesn't mean that there's not tornadoes left. That doesn't mean there's not strong damaging winds left. As you can see on the screen, you still got a strong line of storms that's only in Alabama right now. It's still moving east, but may come out to a more of a general watch standpoint. That's why I may pull back to that national radar that I started using last night, with a little bit more focused on the eastern part of the United States. We can watch this thing in a little bit broader view, and for those who are outside of these regions of more severe weather, such as central Alabama, that you can see what's going on there too. I'll leave the stream on for a little while longer. I haven't ate supper yet, so I got off work, I came home, let the dog out, and restarted this stream and went into this more, well, I call it the 4-panel mode. So I went into this, started watching these tornadoes, and so I'm going to take probably zoom back out, take a little bit of a short break. I'll keep an eye on it, so if something does pop up, we can switch back over and watch it like we did with this tornado. So praying for Leeds, guys. Praying for those around Leeds and in that general vicinity, anybody who was affected by that tornado that just came through east of Birmingham, Alabama. Praying that no one got injured, praying that no one lost their homes. It's all too real, and that's one of the reasons why we do this, to try to get that warning out as early as possible for anybody who's watching. Trying to reach more people, so make sure that you're liking the videos, that you're subscribed, so you can keep up, and that the YouTube algorithm will allow it to get out to more people. Those who are searching, when they get those warnings, people who pop on to see what's going on, see where things are at. That's what we're here for. So we need your help to help share and get the word out. zoom out a little bit here to a more broad view on the GR2. That right there will be just fine. Well, I guess y'all can hear me typing, huh? Alright guys, I left you a good update there at the bottom. I'll switch it over now to the national radar, which will just be showing the southeast right now with the heavy severe weather. Um, we do have a couple washes still going on right now that I mentioned down below in these purple pinkish shaded areas in Alabama right now currently. Some still in Mississippi. If I hear the tornado warnings going off, I'll be back to give you a more detailed look at what's going on. I'll be heading off to eat some supper here around the house and take care of some things, walk the dog, feed the dog, things like that. So yeah, thanks for stopping by, guys. Thanks for watching. For those of you who came by throughout the day, thanks to you. I was really wish I could be here for more of this, but unfortunately I wasn't. At least I got to stream though. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream, and I'll be up for a while this evening just watching the storm going through. So if you have any questions or anything, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll be glad to answer them whenever I can, whenever I can get back to them. Thanks so much, guys. I appreciate it. I'll be back shortly.
Severe thunderstorm warning for southern Shelby County in central Alabama. Severe thunderstorm warning for northwestern Cherokee County in north-central Georgia, southwestern Gilmer County in north-central Georgia, southeastern Floyd County in northwestern Georgia, northwestern Dawson County in north-central Georgia, Gordon County in northwestern Georgia, Pickens County in north-central Georgia, Bartow County in northwestern Georgia. Severe thunderstorm warning for northeastern Calhoun County in east central Alabama, northeastern Cleburne County in east central Alabama, southeastern Cherokee County in northeastern Alabama. thunderstorm warning for northern Cherokee County in north-central Georgia, southwestern Dawson County in north-central Georgia, Pickens County in north-central Georgia, northern Bartow County in northwestern Georgia.